Welcome to the Market Mystics podcast, where we discuss what's happening in the cryptosphere and trading on earth as it is in heaven. Buckle up and huddle on while we dive in and get weird. Here are your hosts, Joshua and Kim.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Market Mystics podcast. Today we are going to be looking at the upcoming year 2022. I guess not really upcoming anymore because we are in 2022. We're going to talk about some of the things that we think are going to explode, some of the things we think are going to go down, just kind of an outlook over the year and look at what's to come.
Sounds good to me. First thing I think we need to talk about. So today is January 6th, 2022. In the last 48 hours, there has been a major price drop.
Yeah.
Kind of across the board with cryptos. I'd say mostly across the board. And I think this is something to talk about. This morning when I woke up and I checked some numbers and some charts, I scrolled through maybe the top 25 coins and I saw more double-digit percentage losses than I saw single digits or anything green. And that's remarkable. I don't think it's remarkable in a good way unless you're ready to buy, because if you're ready to buy, now's the time.
Sure.
So that was a little bit, I don't know, to me, that's a little discouraging. I don't love to see when the market is down. I know, again, for those who are ready to buy, it's a good sign for them. But for people who hold like me, I love to see the numbers in the green.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, like Bitcoin right now is 43.5, Ethereum's 3,400. Those are down a lot. But what I think is, whenever I see things moving like that, one of the things that I always like to look for is what is not participating in that move, like what's going against the trend. And I think it's really interesting because there's a handful of coins. I typically have my charts up to show like the last 7 days, and there's a few coins that are just totally not participating in the selling that's happening. And I think it's important to remember as an investor that when things are going down, it doesn't mean that across the board things are going down. And so I think there's always an opportunity to catch something that's on the rise, or even just during a sell to reposition to a stable coin, or there's a lot of ways to manage your risk and manage your portfolio while things are going down to optimize what you're looking for.
This is so true. And I think a lot of times we look at Bitcoin as pretty much the heartbeat, right? Like this is the plumb line in which we measure everything else against.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I mean, the US dollar is as well. But in general, Bitcoin, if you're measuring against any cryptocurrency, it's going to be against Bitcoin. But there really are some coins that over time, you can look at their charts and they don't follow as closely to the trends that Bitcoin has as the majority of other coins. Some of them we are looking at today. We had 3 that we wanted to mention. And I want to mention this before I even talk about which coins they are. These aren't like random number 52,738 ranked coins. These are all in the top 50. These are coins that you probably will recognize their names or their call letters. And it's something that you might want to keep in the back of your mind. So if you are heavy into something and you see it start tanking and going in the same direction as Bitcoin, you know that you could potentially transfer over to something like this that isn't going to follow that trend so closely.
Yeah. And all 3 of them are also available on like the major platforms that you would use, Binance US or Coinbase. It's not like, we're not trying to pick coins that you have to have a wallet and a DeFi swap platform just to try to find this obscure coin. I mean, they're they're everyday name coins.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
yeah.
Okay, so one of them that we're calling them counter trend coins, by the way. So we'll just stick with that terminology. But one of them is Link. This is Chainlink. It is the number 17 coin. And today, in the last 24 hours, it's up 2.6%. So when we look at that compared to Bitcoin, Bitcoin's down at this point 1.7% in the last 24 hours. So if you see that, it's a little different. Another one is Atom, which is Cosmos. It's the number 18 coin. And honestly, I don't know a ton about these two coins. I'm familiar with their names, as most people are, I'm sure. Do you know much about any of them?
I don't know much about like what they're trying to accomplish or their purpose behind them. But one thing I think is really interesting is with Atom, ATOM, it's up 45% in 7 days, whereas Bitcoin is down 6% over 7 days.
Wow.
And I mean, so it's not just going against the trend, it's like screaming against the trend. And it's those things that I think you really have to watch for, while, you can sit here and you can write it down, or you can find these things that are doing this. I mean, this coin, if you pull up even the longer chart, like a 30 or a 90 day, it's consistently gaining. I mean, it's just not, it has its dips here and there, but it's consistently in an uptrend. And I think that's coins like that are just, you can't sleep on them. You can't ignore a coin that I'm 30 days. You have to go beyond 30 days. Let's see, it started this uptrend kind of mid-December, I guess. So about 30 days or so of climbing. I mean, that's amazing. And you don't want to miss things like that.
That is pretty great. One of the other coins, and I am thrilled to mention this one, is Harmony. Its call letters are ONE1. This is one of my very favorite coins, you guys. This is one of those that the Lord led us to. I mean, it was last year, he told us, get in by the end of the year, just do it, essentially.
Right. So we're talking end of 2020.
End of 2020. And this is one of those where, I mean, we didn't know a whole lot about it, but you listen. If you trust in your relationship with him, you do what he says. And so we both individually invested in Harmony, and it is absolutely one of my favorite coins. I would call this one of my pet coins. I'll probably use this term from time to time because I have these certain little coins that I love so much. And usually it's because the Lord has kind of put a little star over them and said, pay attention to this one. And this is just one of those. But Harmony is at number 48. And what are the charts looking like today? It's, oh gosh, I typed too fast.
It's pretty much flat on the 24-hour mark. It's up 7% in 24 hours. So I'm sorry, it's pretty much flat on the 1 hour chart. It's up 7% 24 hours, and it's up 37% in 7 days.
Right. But this one is we were talking about 2020, the end of 2020. It's up almost 6,000% in the last year.
Right.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah. Amazing.
But talking about this, I kind of want to talk about, what do you see happening in the year to come? I mean, in the stock market, this would be unheard of, right? Those kinds of gains in a year. I don't think that those kinds of gains are done. I'm not saying necessarily for Harmony that's going to do that again, but there are coins that are popping up that have that kind of potential for growth this year. what are we looking at for 2021?
I've not really had my eye watching new coins
Mm-hmm.
necessarily. It's kind of I've had a little bit different approach to 2022 than I did for 2021. In
Mm-hmm.
2021, I was just getting into investing in crypto regularly, and everything was new to me. So every coin that I saw was like, "Oh, what's this?" And there was also a lot of growth during January, February, March of 2021. New coins were popping up here and there, and there was just a lot of opportunity. What I've looked for more in 2022 is, okay, out of everything that's new and fresh and popping up, what is going to stick around? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's
Mm-hmm.
going to be legitimate and hold its value and still be around in a year, and what's kind of not, what's not going to happen. And so I've really focused more on, I would say, maybe the top 50, top 100 coins, just because uh, I think that there is room for crazy potential, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't know that, like what we saw in 2021 was crazy growth. I mean, just with Harmony with over 6,000% growth, that may not happen with every coin, but there definitely is potential for growth. Like, I mean, I'm just looking at Bitcoin and or Ethereum, and I don't think there's any reason that they can't double in 2022, especially if crypto continues gaining traction with the metaverse and NFTs. I've said this from the very beginning, but I think the biggest threat to crypto is regulation. So if we see some massive governmental regulation come down this year, that could really stunt the growth. But if that's not well defined for another year, then I don't see any reason why Bitcoin couldn't hit 100, 120,000, or Ethereum hit 10,000 maybe. Some of those coins that, and that's little over 100% growth for both of those coins. And I don't think that that's unreasonable to achieve in a year. Not when we're talking about some of these DeFi coins or altcoins having thousands of percent growth. I don't think it's unreasonable to see some of the main coins hit 100% growth.
That's so interesting. Um, Gosh, there's so much of what you talked about that I want to touch on. So, number one, you mentioned metaverse. I think
Mhm.
with the metaverse and all the Web3 stuff that is starting to really come out, people are talking about it, people are getting into it. You're seeing it more and more in the mainstream. I think we're going to start seeing a bunch of the metaverse coins really pop up and start to shine. So there are already some of them that are out there that are doing really well. You look at Mana or Sandbox, Engine, I think is one of them. Some of these coins, just even in the last 2 months, 3 months, have doubled or tripled or more. It's kind of ridiculous. I think that's the stuff that is going to really start blowing up and starting to shine this year. We were talking about this um, just before we started the show. And New Year's Eve, so we're very intrigued by the metaverse stuff, just kind of everything metaverse,
Right.
even just the simple concept of making this whole new world that can integrate so much of what we already live as our lives, right, into that. But one of the things that I saw on New Year's Eve is that Paris Hilton, who I never hear anything about Paris Hilton anymore, but
Right.
Paris Hilton was hosting a New Year's Eve party on a world that she created in Roblox. And it was sponsored to the nines. I mean, it was a big deal. And I
Yeah.
think we're going to start seeing more and more of this kind of stuff. Snoop Dogg has a whole like plot of land in one of these metaverses. Which one is it? Do you know?
I think it's Sandbox.
Something. I don't know, but there are these big names that are recognizable. We know who they are, that are really starting to hop on board with some of this stuff. And you're starting to see more and more adoption of it. Nike just signed on a big contract just a few weeks ago to start working with metaverse stuff. Today in the news, it was Samsung. What was it?
I saw that they're recreating their flagship store from New York inside Decentraland.
That is nuts.
Right.
That's nuts. Yeah, so this is why I think this is something to watch this year, and any of the coins associated with it, really.
Right.
I don't know. I
And
think that's where we're going to see the explosion.
I think you'll see an explosion in all things digital world, all things metaverse. What'll be interesting is like I was talking about with what I'm looking for is legitimacy. Which ones are really going to stand out as the platform to be on? Is it going to be Sandbox? Is it going to be Decentraland? Those two are some of the biggest, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of others. There's so many others that are trying to do this. And there's nothing to say that one of those might not do something that puts them above those. A new coin could come up tomorrow, or a new platform could show up tomorrow in the metaverse that outperforms all of those because they have some feature that the others don't.
It's true. This is so true. I think it's kind of an exciting time. I will also say, I don't know that I'll be participating in the metaverse, but I'm intrigued by the whole thing.
Right.
You
I
know?
definitely have reservations towards jumping into a fully digital world, but I also understand that it's kind of the direction that we're heading, and I I don't want it to be I don't want it to just go the way that the anyone says it's going to go. Like, I want to have some input. I want to have some stake in it. And this was something that was interesting that the Lord showed me in the spirit. I was kind of talking to him about the metaverse because for a long time I had really rejected the metaverse because I don't ever want to see people give up physical assets for digital assets. I think that that is a step towards slavery. I think if you don't own anything and you're fully dependent on someone else to provide your housing and thing, I just think that's a really dangerous road to go down.
Sure.
But so I took the metaverse to Yahweh, and I was talking to him about, what should I do? What should I not do? And what he showed me was, like almost everything in life, there's potential for things to be used for good, and there's potential for things to be used for evil. And if I wanted to have any governance or ability to stand in that area as a mature son of God, that I needed to have ownership in it. I couldn't govern it from afar if I wasn't going to participate in that. And I think that for me, it was such a powerful statement. So I am still somewhat hesitant on the metaverse. I'm not going to say that's changed, but I want to see the best possible outcome for the metaverse. And so I want to participate in it. I want to create within it so that there is, because I think it could go either way. I think it could be an amazing thing, or I think it could be a not so great thing.
That's an interesting take. I think that's good though. And I haven't even gone to the Lord about it. This is my hesitance. Okay. I'll just be really honest about it. So a couple months ago when Facebook announced that they're changing to Meta and it's because
Right.
everything's going metaverse and all this stuff, that is like a big black mark for me. I do not like Facebook. I don't like what it does to people. I don't like what it has done to me in the past. I've
Sure.
been off of it. I mean, I was a user for a long time. I've been off of it for about 3 years. And it's one of those things that just kind of gives me that gross feeling in the pit of my stomach,
Right.
you know? And so I hear, oh, Mark Zuckerberg is now saying, oh, everything's metaverse. And I'm like, yeah, you can take me off of that list.
What I think is interesting about that move by them, I think a lot of it was an attempt to rebrand to get away from the name Facebook, which
Mhm.
has a very negative connotation. And a lot of people don't want anything to do with it. But I think that the other thing it did was it started getting people to associate the metaverse with Facebook.
Hmm.
And you have coins like Decentraland, Mana, Roblox. Those coins don't have anything to do with Facebook.
Right.
Or I mean, not even I mean, Roblox, not even a coin, but like those platforms don't have anything to do with Facebook. They've been creating digital worlds way well beyond that. And you can kind of go into gaming even with it, with like Fortnite or a lot of those
Minecraft.
places, they've been creating
Hmm.
metaverses in a sense.
Right.
And so by Facebook sort of taking that name, what they've done is made everyone associate this online world with them. And that to me is maybe the most disgusting part of what they did.
I was going to say, I mean, I guess you could say, yeah, wise marketing move,
Yeah,
total douche move for the whole world, though.
right.
I mean, I'll just say that. I'm okay. I'm just obviously not a fan of theirs. And I don't know that that's going to change anytime
Right.
in the near future.
We'll see what happens when we upload this episode to our Facebook page.
I know. I know. We might get blocked. We might get banned. We might
Mm,
have hate speech stuff that it says we've done. I don't know.
who
But
knows?
for now, I can say that I'm not a fan of Facebook.
Right. Hmm. So what are some of your outlooks for 2022? What do you see in happening with coins and NFTs and
Hmm. Well, I think the NFT concept is going to continue to broaden and expand. I think right now it's a real niche market and people are really making names for themselves for getting in early as creators and even as platforms that can mint and distribute and drop and everything. All these things. I was just, this is horrible. You guys just bear with me. I was looking at an article earlier today about OpenSea, which is the biggest platform for NFTs. And I saw that it now is worth more or trading more, has a market cap of, I don't know, because I'm not looking at the article right at the moment, but more than Kraken, more than, I think it was eToro and another of these platforms that are trading cryptocurrencies, which is, I think is real telling. If this is purely for NFTs, which is the non-fungible tokens, not the currency kind of tokens,
right.
that's kind of a big deal. I think that's telling as to how big this is getting. You look at anything like Bored Ape Yacht Club, these
Yeah.
things are making millions and millions of dollars for a piece of digital art.
Right. That's what I was going to say is currently the NFT market is kind of just digital art.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't even started to expand into all the other areas that I think it could easily go.
Right. I think we could have a whole episode on just thinking through what could NFTs be.
Right.
Honestly, because I have sat down for hours and just thought, oh, well, this could be an NFT and this could be an NFT. And if this person wanted to do this, they could be distributing NFTs with their product and all of these different things.
Right.
Um, but I don't know. I guess that's what I think it is. But the NFTs in the metaverse, I mean, they go hand in hand. The NFT right now, especially being this collectible art scene right now, it is almost like this very accepting, welcoming little doorway into the metaverse for all
Right.
of those of us who are like, I don't know about that.
Right.
But I'll be honest, I own some NFTs and I love it. I love it. Crypto.com, they have these drops. It's almost every day at like 8 a.m. Central Time. And you bet I'm on there. I want to look through and see what the different pieces of arts, the different pieces are, what the artists are, what it's about. I'm loving that stuff. And so I am excited to see where NFTs go this year.
I've even seen people on social media who are who have Bored Ape or CryptoPunk NFTs as their profile pictures.
Hmm.
And they are like, they're now known as being the person who owns this NFT. And
Wow.
like, it's so, I think there's so much potential for this.
It's
So much
wild.
potential.
This is so, and it really is blowing up. I have to tell you a little story that I have. So I told you, if you listen to our About Us episode, there's a little bit in there about my past, and I come from a car dealership. Well, the last time I was in there getting my oil changed, I was talking to someone who had just sold like an $85,000 vehicle to a son and his father who had gotten a Bored Ape drop,
Wow.
and they sold it for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So they came in and paid cash for this new truck. And I'm just like,
That's
what?
wild.
This is in our backyard. This is real. This isn't
Right.
just
Small
somebody
town
knows somebody
America.
who knows somebody. I guess I say that. I didn't know the person who bought it. I know the salesman who sold it,
Right.
whatever. Um, but it's close, right? Like this stuff is really happening around us. And again, with this stuff, you like get in early. That's the way to do. You get in early, and that's where
Mm.
you can really um
You
prosper.
really, with NFTs, you really have to get in on the drop.
Mm-hmm. Oh
And
yeah.
if you get in on the drop, you easily are going to see a 2 to 3x return. But if you're buying on the secondary market, sure, you could definitely see some increases, but I think it's a lot riskier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think so too. And I guess it depends on your stance of why you're doing it. Are you doing it because you want the art? Then it doesn't really matter if you get it on the drop. Probably you want
Right.
to because you'll get the best price. But if not, you can buy it from people who were in on the drop. They did get up at X
Whatever time.
AM, right? Yeah, to get in and get the token. But if you really just want the art, you can buy it
Right.
essentially. And pretty much, I know the platform I'm using, I said I was using crypto.com, their NFT platform. They just changed it from having all coins unlisted until they're listed. So after you get it on a drop, it's automatically unlisted until you set a price or set an auction base amount or something.
Right.
But now they're all automatically available to take bids. So
Mm,
like you are always accepting offers. Not that you'll get offers, but if somebody
right.
wants it bad enough, I mean, you might as well do that.
And that kind of gives you an insight into what it might be worth on the secondary market.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. Okay. I don't want to get any more into NFTs. I could talk about this for hours.
We're going to have to do a whole
We
episode on
do
it.
need to do an episode on NFTs because I have even more to say.
Right.
But
So
another thing,
what about coins? What do you see
okay.
coming for
Okay.
coins?
So for coins, we were going to talk about this anyway, but Ethereum 2.0 is supposed to drop,
Mm,
right?
right.
I'm saying drop because we were just talking about NFTs. It's supposed to be rolled out hopefully first quarter of this year.
Right.
I would say hopefully, because it also said last year, they said maybe last quarter of last year, which we did not see. I don't see it on the horizon at this point. It doesn't feel like it's close. 2.0 is supposed to make it faster and cheaper. That's pretty much what I know about Ethereum 2.0.
What's your gut say? Do you feel like it's really gonna, do you think it's gonna be all that they've marketed it to be, or do you think it's gonna not really change anything about Ethereum?
I think it's a little too late, honestly.
Right.
I do. I mean, I know Ethereum's the number two coin, and I've really loved Ethereum for a long time. Um, but there are coins that are already doing the same things faster, cheaper, and have
Right.
moved on. And they're innovating beyond that, as opposed to
Right.
Ethereum, who's still trying to get that piece together.
Our friend Francois has described Ethereum 2.0 as um, rebuilding an airplane while it's flying. And just all the challenges that are involved in doing that to keep it flying while you're rebuilding
Mm-hmm.
it. And I think you're right. I think there's coins that are popping up that already have all of the features of 2.0 built in them from the start,
Right.
built in them from the get go. And I mean, I think of, like Avalanche or Polkadot, some of those, like some of these coins, they're just able to do things better.
Right.
And I don't know if 2.0 will be enough to really sustain ETH in the number 2 spot.
I agree. That's what I was going to say too. So we may be on the same page about this. So here's one thing that I'm looking at for 2022. I think Ethereum may lose its number two position.
Wow.
We'll see, but that's my that's my prediction. I don't
Do you
like
think
that
it will
word, but
go up in price per coin and still lose its number 2 position?
I
Or
do.
do you think it's just going to devalue all around?
Nope. I think it'll still go up. I don't think there's a whole lot of room for loss at this point
Right.
with the top 10 coins. Um, but I think that its rank is going to go down, which will be that's a huge that would be a huge move.
That's a big deal. I'm looking right now. So Ethereum's current market cap is about 408 billion. And the next closest coin is just under 80 billion. So it would be a pretty significant increase for something to catch it, but it's not an increase that we haven't seen before.
Exactly. Exactly. And there's I also think there's going to be far wider reach and greater acceptance of cryptocurrency in the next
Right.
year by just normal people. And also, you see a lot of these big whales, these big traders from other markets who are hopping on the crypto train. And
Right.
if they do that and they see Ethereum is lagging behind and doesn't have their technology up to par with all of these other coins that can do the same thing faster, cheaper, why would they buy into Ethereum?
Right.
You
I
know what I mean?
totally agree. Totally
And
agree.
so I don't think it takes that many of these big players to make
Mm.
that move happen.
I think right now what's propping Ethereum up is the NFT market. Like almost I think maybe everything sold on OpenSea is on
It is
ETH.
on Ethereum.
So there's a huge Ethereum's getting a huge boost just by having all of these other platforms being built on top of it. So I could see that supporting them.
Mhm.
But if some of these other platforms, some of these other level 1 coins start showing utility in the NFT market to where people, even just crypto.com, their platform is built on the Crow coin,
Right.
on their own native coin.
Mhm.
So maybe some of these other ones step up and say, hey, we can do NFTs as good or better. And maybe that's the catalyst that tips ETH over.
Maybe.
All right. So
We'll see.
2022, we've got ETH going up in price per coin, but losing its market cap second position to somebody else. What about Bitcoin? What do you see coming for Bitcoin?
I don't know. I want things for Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin still reigns as number one. I think it will take something huge to ever overtake that spot.
So December 2022, we're still sitting with Bitcoin at the number one spot.
Yes. I would say yes. What do you think?
I think probably. I mean, like I said earlier, I think there's a good chance we're going to see Bitcoin double in price. I think that's a realistic goal. I've heard people say numbers that are significantly higher than that, but I think a doubling, or I mean 100% increase, I think that's totally doable, and it's already double the market cap of Ethereum,
Mm-hmm.
and I just don't see that. I think it's going to be really hard for anyone to catch them.
I agree. And honestly, Bitcoin's the gold standard
Right.
in cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Has anything overtaken gold in like the world?
Right.
The gold is still the gold standard. Like it is
Other
the
things
standard.
other things have maybe been more popular at times, but I think gold always holds its value.
It kind of does, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm saying Bitcoin like gold. I think they're not one and the same, but I think they're very similar when we're looking at the two different ways of having holding value, I suppose.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think Bitcoin, I would, I don't know what I would agree with or not. Maybe doubling. I think that's possible because of um, wider adoption of
Right.
crypto and everything. I was going to be a bit more conservative on that on my guess, but it's just a guess. Like this is not an educated guess. It's not, I'm not putting any eggs in any basket. So I'll just piggyback off you, Josh.
Sounds good to
But I
me.
don't think it's going to lose number one spot.
Sure. I would tend to agree with that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think in general, I think what you said is right. You know, the top 10, top 50, I don't know that there's a lot of room down, but up, I think there's a lot of potential. Maybe it's double, maybe it's more than that for some coins, maybe it's, less, but I don't see a lot of potential for, I guess I would say, sustained drops. Not that it necessarily couldn't dip lower for times, but I think when we get to December 2022, that the coins will not be lower than where they're at now.
I would agree. Totally. Before we wrap this up, I want to know, what do you think about meme coins in 2022?
Man,
And when I say meme coins, I'm talking Doge, the Shiba Inu, these
Safe
little,
Moon,
yeah,
all
yes.
of these coins. I hmm. I think what 2021 showed us was that meme coins can jump into the market as a meme and evolve into bringing real world utility to where
Mm,
they're almost not a meme anymore.
all
And
right.
I think we saw that happen in 2021. I think that happened with almost all of them, the three we mentioned, at least for
Yeah.
sure. And so I don't know. It almost seems to me that I guess I would say for 2022, I don't really see meme coins being a thing where a bunch of new meme coins are jumping out.
I hope not. I'll just say
But
that.
I don't think that that means that the ones that currently exist are going to go away either. Like,
All
I don't
right.
think Doge or Shibu are necessarily going to go away, because I think they've started to bring legitimacy to their platforms.
I think you're right on that. And I think that I need to stop looking at any kind of news about them, because I will tell you, I get whiplash seeing Shiba Inu in the news in any way, because it's like Shiba Inu is going to go 20x. And then the next one is
Right.
like, it's fizzled out. There's nothing left. And then it's like, oh, it's going to soar and all these things. Like, I don't even want to look at it. I don't want to hear it anymore. Um, but I think if they can really rally and get on some sort of utility, like you said, like if they can be used for real world transactions, even
Right.
just as a currency, fine. I think they can stay around, and I think it's
Sure.
great. It's kind of like we talked about Roblox. So Roblox has a native currency, Robux.
Right.
You buy it on a gift card with cash, and then you go and it loads into your thing. So who cares if you use a Shiba Inu and on Nike.com or something,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Great.
I think it's likely. Well, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We will see. Or I should say, or if you use a Doge to buy a Tesla.
There you go. That would sound good to me. If my Doge hit a point where I could buy a Tesla with it, I might do it.
Like where you could spend one Doge for a Tesla, because I'd be
Uh,
down for that.
I mean, sure, but I more so just meant my current Doge holdings. Yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining our show today. Hope it has been somewhat educational or made you laugh, or at least, if nothing else, made you consider seeking the Father with some of your personal investments. So I guess that's up for today. We'll see you guys next week.
Awesome. Thank you for listening. Join us every Monday and Thursday as we discuss trading on earth as it is in heaven. If you want to connect further, follow us on social media at market.mystics for Instagram and TikTok, and search for Market Mystics on YouTube and Facebook. If you still need more, follow the link on Facebook to book a coaching appointment. Until next time, see ya.